listeners, welcome to today's session. We will be covering an important area. The topic for today's discussion is Basic Concepts of Social Psychology under your course title Human Growth, Behavior and Counseling with the course code BSW 124. In our last session, we have already covered some important points under this concept of social psychology basic concepts. Now let us see the remaining part in this session. Social psychology, as we saw last time, it studies how people act, think and feel in the context of society. It considers how people's behaviors, thoughts, and feelings change because of other people. Social psychologists are mainly concerned with understanding the wide range of conditions and circumstances which shape the social behavior and thought of individuals, their actions, their feelings, beliefs, memories, and influences with respect to other persons in a different social setting. Dear learners, in our last session, we saw what are some important definitions of leadership, and we also saw certain basic qualities or traits of a leader. In this discussion, we will now see what are the types of leadership. Psychologists have offered different classifications of leadership. In 1940, the social psychologist Bogardus, he has described 5 different types of leaderships. Let us see all these 5 one by one. The first group consists of what is called as a direct or an indirect leadership. A direct leader, dear learners, keeps direct contact with the group and he or she remains in touch with the members. The name direct itself suggests that he always remains in personal contact. He listens to their problems in a face-to-face situations, directly sitting across with them in a face-to-face situation. Indirect leaders, on the other hand, they influence the thoughts of followers through their propounded concepts or their theories and guidelines. Under this category, we include scientists, authors, and philosophers. So, this is the first type, direct versus indirect leadership. Coming to the second, a partisan versus a scientific leader. A partisan leader favors the group and does not accept the weakness of the group members. Politicians and religious leaders are examples of a partisan leadership. They always have seen to favor the group motive. You are all aware how the politicians in their rallies, they put forth only those points which are in the favor of the entire group, and they do not accept the weaknesses of the group members. A scientific leader appraises the group's performance critically. Scientific leader always shows critical analysis. Therefore, he discusses both the negative and positive aspects of the group's performance. Next, third category, this is called as social, executive, and mental leadership. A social leader functions publicly for his group. The mental leader, however, requires a peaceful and private atmosphere. For him or her, the mental makeup is very, very important. And for a good mental makeup, a peaceful environment and a private environment is required by them. For example, social workers are always put under the category of mental leaders. Executive leadership is a combination, dear learners, of both of these above social and mental leadership. An executive leader possesses the qualities of a social worker and at the same time capability to influence the thoughts of his group. They can always put across those points which will be shared and which will influence the group as a whole. This is the quality of a executive leader. Then we come to the fourth category or the fourth type. This is a combination of autocratic versus charismatic, paternal, and democratic leader. It's a set of four different types of leaders. Let us see them one by one. An autocratic leader holds absolute power. You are all familiar. Autocratic itself means absolute power, someone who is wholly and solely responsible. This type of leader formulates plans and policies for the entire group himself. He will make the plans, he will make the policies because of his utmost position in the group. He does not require any justification for either rewarding or punishing any group member. So he is not answerable to anyone else in the entire group. As opposed to this, a charismatic leader possesses a God gifted personality or a charisma or a property by which he can have a very positive impression on all the others in his group. Her appeal, his or her appeal is emotional and he or she helps the receiver group to resolve the problem. As opposed to these two, a paternal leader, as the name is suggesting, paternal means father. So, this type of leader is like a fatherly figure. Members of the group respect the leader as they would respect their father. So, they have a lot of respect. A democratic leader discusses all aspects of the group functioning with his members and power in the group is decentralized. This is exactly opposite to the autocratic leader. Autocratic leader holds the entire power himself, but a democratic leader distributes power equally in the group. This is called as decentralization of the power. Fifth category, this includes the prophet type of leader or the saint or the expert and boss type of leader. The expert leader acts as a consultant. Any kind of expertise that you want to make use of, you can go to such a leader and consult him or her for your current situation or problem. He acts as a commentator critic, and resource person in an organization at the time of planning and policy formulation. Further, dear learners, Lippitt and Whites have listed three types of leadership. Now, this is another type of classification of leadership. First is authoritarian leadership. An authoritarian leader keeps full control in his hands. This is very similar to the autocratic leader, and he shoulders full responsibility for his actions. He assumes that his leadership is due to the authority which has been conferred upon him either by his position or by his knowledge or strength or power. He is rarely or never entertains others' perspectives. He does not give much importance to what others have to say or what is the view of others. So, this was the first type, authoritarian. Then the second is democratic leadership, and the third is laissez-faire type of leadership. Let us see these two also in detail now. The second type of leadership, that is a democratic leader, provides an opportunity to all members equally for exchanging views on any matter pertaining to the group. The leader only moderates the decisions of the group members and accepts responsibility for the results. So, in this situation, all the group members get an equal chance of expressing themselves. Third, in the third category called as laissez-faire leadership, the leader delegates his authority to members for planning, motivating, controlling, and shouldering responsibility of their own actions. The leader in this case acts only as a liaison or a medium between the group and all the external forces. He provides the requisite material and information to group members. He behaves in the group just like a common member. That means he does not show off his position or power. Let us now see what is the role of the leader in a group. Dear learners, the role of the leader in a group depends mainly upon the nature, the requirement, and potentiality of the group, as well as the type of leadership. By and large, a leader plays the following roles. Let us make a list of all these roles of a leader now. Let's start. As a planner and policy maker, which is the first role of a leader, this is very important. He has to develop an appropriate policy, plan, program, and activity either by himself or through a dialogue and discussion with the group members. This may be based on guidelines and orders of the organizational heads or suggestions from the group members. This type of a leader should be goal oriented and enable the smooth functioning of the group. Second, as an executive, a leader shoulders the responsibility of executing the policies of the group, and he always assigns responsibilities for different tasks to different group members. For certain tasks, he will assign X person. For another type of task, he will assign Y person, and so on. Third point, the leader has to function as an expert. The leader is a specialist in a certain field, and he or she has to provide technical assistance, and they have to give advice to the whole group. Fourth point, dear learners, a leader has to act as a representative. In a situation where members of the group are not in position to deal directly with other groups, the leader assumes the role of the representative of the whole group. Fifth point, as a purveyor of reward and punishment. A leader offers reward for desirable action, and he will give punishment for undesired behavior within the members of the group. Next, as a controller of internal relations. The group leader governs specific details of the group structure and functions as the controller of internal group relations. It is his duty to see that within the group, all the members are having a positive internal relation with each other. Seventh, as an arbitrator and mediator. The leader may play the role of a conciliator and judge to resolve intra-group conflict. Intra-group means within the group. He has the power to reduce or encourage activities of members in the whole group. Next point, the leader has to function as an exemplar. That means he has to act as a role model. Sometimes the leader becomes a model of behavior for the group members, indicating to them what they should be and what they should do. The leader has to act as the symbol of the group. Sometimes the leader provides cognitive focus for group unity, such as the royal family of Great Britain. Next point, as the substitute for individual responsibility, sometimes the leader plays the role for an individual member, relieving him of his responsibility for a personal decision. That means he substitutes one of the group members in a situation where it is required. So the leader frees the individual from the compulsion of decision making. In his place, he will substitute himself. Next, the leader has to function as an ideologist. In certain situations, dear learners, the leader furnishes the ideology of the group and serves as the source of beliefs, values, and norms of the individual members. Further, very important point, the leader has to act as the father figure of the whole group. The leader may be an ideal object of identification for all the group members. Just as the father figure helps in the group members in a family to identify themselves, similarly, in a social setup also, the leader always acts as a father figure for the group members. Coming to the next topic now, this is what is a crowd and what are its characteristics. We begin first by explaining what is actually a crowd. So, a crowd is a gathering of a large number of people on account of a matter of common concern. When a considerable number of individuals respond to some common object, within a limited space collectively, their presence on the whole is considered as a crowd. So, a crowd is a transitory, that means for a short duration. It's a contiguous group, it is unorganized, and it is always formed for some common interest. Now, mental unity is the essential and fundamental characteristic of a crowd. We come to the next part, that is characteristics of a crowd. Some important features of a crowd, let us see. First is gathering. In a crowd, people gather at a place in large numbers and they remain there for some time. Second, polarization, which means members of the crowd concentrate themselves on the focal point of the incident or object. Third, transitoriness, that means instability. Transitory means for a very short time. So, instability is a basic nature of a crowd. It is difficult to find out who were the members of the crowd because it's an unstable group. The crowd may remain as such for a few hours or for a few days, but not forever. Fourth, a crowd is always unorganized. It has neither any predetermined objective and nor it is pre-planned. Fifth, there is always a common emotion. So all members of the crowd share the same emotion. Sixth, mutual influence. All the individuals in a crowd they influence the behavior of each other. And because of this mutual influence, they are more receptive towards suggestions. Next, seventh feature, spatial distribution, which means the area in which the crowd is spread. This always has a limit and the crowd is always confined to a limited place. Next, mass strength. Members of the crowd feel mass strength observing huge gathering with them. In a crowd, an individual does not have his or her distinct existence and they behave according to mass behavior. Coming to the next topic, mob and mob psychology. Let's define a mob. It's a form of crowd. When a crowd becomes aggressive and violent, we start calling it a mob. So, a mob consists of people who are in an aggressive mood. Coming to public opinion, what do we mean by it? And what is its impact and relevance to society? Public opinion is the common opinion of people in society. Public opinion simply refers to the mass of ideas on a given issue expressed by people. It is not static and it keeps changing with situation and time. Let us quickly see the features of public opinion. First, it always relates to a common subject matter. Second, it is widely accepted decision of majority of the people in that group. Third, it is not formed by any particular individual but from the collaborative effort of the group. Fourth, it is an outcome of a social process. Fifth, it is not necessary that public opinion will always be logical only. It can even be illogical. Next, public opinion is an indicator of social culture. Next, public opinion may be influenced by some distinguished, honored, rich and powerful people of the society. Quite often, public opinion seems to be related to a particular problem. Next, public opinion pertaining to an issue does not remain the same for a very long time, so it's not stable in nature. Further, it pertains to customs, stereotypes, and traditions and tends to be more constant. Now, let us see the impact of public opinion. Public opinion is significant for society since ancient times. It is even more significant and important in a large society. This has been greatly influenced by the proliferation of social and electronic media. Democracy cannot function effectively in the absence of public opinion. We come to the next topic of this unit, which is propaganda. Propaganda is a process and a method which brings about a change in thought, faith, and attitude of individuals. It is an organized attempt of a person or group to influence public opinion. Propaganda does not depend on facts and logic. Let us see some of the important methods of propaganda. First, name calling device. Here, the propagandist uses famous names for his followers. Second, testimonial device. Here, names of eminent personalities are taken with associated material. Third, glittering generality device. Here, it is used by making use of justice, unity, and friendship to create a favorable emotion in the masses. Fourth, cards taking device. The propagandist in this case hides the truth and he puts false facts before the public. Fifth, plain folk device. Here, the propagandist tries to prove that he or she is also a unit of the society, just like others. Chamber of horrors device. Here, the propagandist evokes emotion of horror and creates guarantee for security of the people. Transfer device. Here, the propagandist associates his propaganda with supernatural power. Next, bandwagon device. Here, the propagandist appeals by highlighting that everybody is saying what he is saying. Now, coming to implications of propaganda. Powerful propaganda diverts people's minds from logical perception and decision making. Propaganda may make people aware of a certain view of any person or a product of some part of the establishment. Further, coming to the next subtopic, relevance and importance of social psychology for social workers. As you know, dear learners, social workers use different materials and methods of social work in various fields of practice. Sometimes social work practice aims at socio-economic development of the individual or the group. Factors responsible for a particular human behavior in a social setting, when brought to the notice of a social worker by the social psychologist, helps the social workers to plan their actions. A social worker has to always keep in mind the problem. A social worker has to always keep in mind the problem, behavior pattern, and thoughts of his client. The client's thought and behavior influences the diagnosis and treatment process and persuades the social worker to modify them accordingly. So, dear learners, with this, we come to the end of this discussion. Hope you have learnt all the concepts well. See you in the next lesson. Thank you.